Okay, Mbugelo expressions. Statistics at about 3.2 million of the South African population sustains burn wounds. About that amount, 1.6 million of it are cases that are reported every year. And which means of that 1.6 million, 3,500 are children. Now, njoba singena ku Child Protection Week, we speak to victims as well as reflect on certain ways in which you can protect yourself. Njoba sekuba i-winter nje. So at the back of that is Tunyiwege ukuthi size la Soweto sokhulumisana noSisi Tebogo Wagatsotezi, who speaks to us about an incident that once happened and tells us why she's going to be summiting in Mount Kilimanjaro. Okay, let's go have a chat with her. Expressions, thank you so much for talking to us.
No, Nyabonga. Thank you so much for coming as well.
Talk to us about what happened.
It was in 2014 and then around winter, July. And it was a Friday evening, a very cold evening that time. And we were from church, from a concert. And then when we came back, and then abantwana bebalele already in the car. And then we just put them in their bed, and then from there just trying to warm up the bedroom, and then switch on heater, and then Sister Lugut is just for about 5-10 minutes, and then Tina must get to change her to her pajamas, and then we'll come back and switch off the lights and switch off the heaters. So, but unfortunately that 5-10 minutes late was just a little bit too late for us, because when my husband came back at uyo switch off ama lights and then nama heater, ne heater bedroom in yabantwana. It was a bit too late. The bedroom was in flames. And we rushed them to the hospital. And then, unfortunately, 2 days later, my youngest son passed on.
How has the support been for you in Pagatini in general?
It's not easy. To be honest with you, it's not easy. You know, uhamba nomdana, maybe a mall or somewhere Stratton, you know, and people just stay and then like staring sa corner, like, itusumtana that thing. Abantu ngaphandle, like they're just receiving this in different ways. Like abanye, they're just too kind, and then umphakathi sometimes like they just give you that judgmental look ukuthi ushisumtana and all that, and they don't even know the story behind all this.
There's a cause that you're going to be summiting Mount Kilimanjaro, right?
Yes.
For tell us about that. That's interesting with the Smile Foundation.
Yeah. Smile Foundation and Avela Foundation bahlanganise ukuthi siyosummita, and the reason why we are summiting, we are actually raising funds just to help children with burn injuries. At the moment in South Africa, actually in the whole of Africa, we only have one scar removal laser machine, the Luminous scar removal laser machine, and by this cause we are actually raising funds to get the second one for the Gauteng area. So we'll be purchasing the machine, and then the machine will be going straight to Baragwanath Hospital. We'll be donating the machine to Bara Hospital.
How much is this machine?
The machine, it cost 2 million rands.
Wow.
And on that sad note, we want to say hello, South Africa. Welcome to Expressions. This is definitely the place for you to air your views. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala.
And I'm your host, Umqolisiwa Wamasango. Sizagena Bukoma from our headquarters in Auckland Park, Johannesburg. Now, Youth Month is iqalile, and as Expressions Mundomosha, we promise ukuthi, of course, we will be continuing to spotlight important issues that are affecting you in Mundomosha. Now, this week, as South Africa observes National Child Protection Week, we are asking, is there enough fire safety awareness for ingane la eMzantsi Africa? Now, that is the big question. We ask you to please be part of this conversation.
So that's a very important question, because, you know, 4 unattended children were burned to death in a home in KwaZulu-Natal on Sunday evening. Now, burns continue to be the 3rd most common cause of accidental deaths among children under the ages of 14 years old. Now, children born to young mothers are said to be at a higher risk because these are children who are said to be neglected and they are left unsupervised or abandoned.
Well, at the back of that, Jackie, what are the views of Abantu Abasha on this particular issue? Now, as Expressions, we indeed took to the streets of Batini. Do take a look at this insert.
Absheni, my name is Sharon Mabonda and I'm your street journalist for today. So we are here to talk on awareness of hazards that can happen during this winter season, like leaving out candles, stoves and heaters. So we've had victims who have burned down because of these things. So I'm here to interview some individuals to know about their take on this and their advice on that, on how we can actually prevent it.
Safe. I think maybe if bakadira mabone, then batlogela go light up di stove for the candle gantlong, then
I think I advise people to switch off their heaters when they sleep, to use lamps instead of the candles when they're studying or when there's no electricity, to avoid the burning of houses and the burning of their shacks and all of that.
You must make sure it's far away from the hazards, far away from paraffins, petrols, or gas stove. They must switch off all the time, must check and switch off the candles.
Since there's a government, the government should provide more electricity to the people, to the environment where there are no electricity.
Wow, young people giving us some great tips on how we can be safe in our homes. But of course, I'm not going to be having this discussion by myself. To take this discussion further, I'm joined in studio by Mr. Henley Lewis, who is from the Smile Foundation. I'm also joined by Mr. Robert Maludzi, who is from the Johannesburg Fire Emergency Services, and he's the spokesperson there. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you in studio to talk about this issue. And of course, I never do this by myself. If you're wondering what's happened to my co-host, of course, he is manning the social media corner and, of course, bringing some of your insights and perspectives on this so important discussion that we're going to be having in studio. I think, Robin, maybe let me start with you. I know we're observing, National Child Protection Week. We also saw an insert of a very heart-wrenching, heartbreaking story about a young mother who spoke about, a mistake, I think, in essence. I want to understand from you, in terms of the responses that you're dealing with, how many young mothers are we seeing in that kind of situation that we saw Tebogo in?
Yeah, I would say we attended to a number of incidents, especially during this time of the this time of the year where it's cold winter is upon us. So in most of the incidences, you find that that 5 minutes where as a parent or as an adult, you're trying to warm up the room, that 5 minutes can take somebody's life, because in most of the incidences, you find that it's either a candle is left unattended or a heater is left unattended. And also you find situations where young kids are left, with those heating devices, unattended, because most of the time you find that our communities out there, they're still using your candles, using a beer bottle or a cold drink bottle as a candle holder, which is much more dangerous, because when the candle gets heated, it actually falls and then it might cause fire. They're still using things like paraffin stoves, which most of the times you find that if somebody, there's a movement on that stove, for instance, if it falls, then you might have a fire incident at home. So those are the most common fire incidents which are we come across during this time of the year.
And then in terms of, because I will now speak a little, at least bring Hedley into this conversation, but in terms of understanding the kinds of communities that get affected, are we seeing it affecting more poor communities, or are we seeing issues around fire safety, or at least the compromise, at least people being compromised in terms of that regard all across the board? Are we seeing all communities, all societies being affected? Robert, sorry, I'm asking you.
Okay. In most of the, like for instance, in the city of Johannesburg, we're looking at about 189 informal settlements. These informal settlements are divided. There are those ones which doesn't have electricity. There are those ones who are still using your candles and your paraffin stoves. So which are most common cause of these fire incidents. So we find out that most of these fire incidents, we find them in those areas. And over and above that, those are like your accidents which are caused by maybe unsafe use of candles and paraffin stoves. But we still find situations where young kids are left unattended, maybe because of that you have like younger parents who are still, you find out that kids maybe as young as 4 years, they're looking after each other. So in those cases, they will be tempted maybe to prepare food for themselves, which makes them vulnerable to fire incidents.
So Robert, and I mean, we saw that with the case with the young mother in KwaZulu-Natal. I think Hedley, maybe let me bring you into this conversation. Let's talk about the awareness around burn survivors. What is the campaign that you're running? I mean, we know that you also are working with Deboho. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Thanks so much. I mean, our organisation obviously is well known for clefts, but burns is a critical area of what we do. And burn survivor support is also an essence of one of our pinnacle pillars that we have. For the Smile Foundation, it's about how to help them in that journey. Because it's not about judging, because that accident can happen in a split second. And who is we as parents to say, well, that parent was negligent? And I think that as a society, we're so judgmental in it. So for us, we have to realize that we have to help. We have to realize that they're survivors, that they've stood up and said, I'm going to survive, regardless of that 10 minutes or that second. So the campaign that we're looking at is as a parent, just be aware. To put yourself in your child's spot. And, you know, one of the things that I heard a parent say is, why not as a parent go down on the ground and see what your child sees? So whether it's a cable from a heater, whether it's a cable from a kettle, all of these things, be aware. Because it can evolve within a second. Yes, for us, it's about that myth buster, that if it happens to a family, rather embrace as opposed to stigmatize. And us as a South African society must say that we're beyond just a rainbow nation of who we are and what we sit. A true rainbow nation is people that are different. And that could be with a cleft, that could be with a burn survivor, that could be a person that has just had a traumatic situation and looks different to me and you. But why are they stigmatized and I'm not, for instance?
Yeah, so we definitely have to become a little bit more sensitive, and I think, and this is why this show is so powerful in that we're creating awareness around that. And I think, maybe you're a young person and you're a burn survivor, and I really hope that this show is giving you hope that, you know, there's awareness and a spotlight that we want to put as expression on this particular issue. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Okay, it's expressions_10 on Instagram, skona ku Facebook kanye na ku Twitter. You're still watching your hashtag #1 Youth Current Affairs show. Igama or Expressions. Now, as we observe National Child Protection Week at Levigi, we are asking, is there enough fire safety awareness for children in South Africa? I'm now joined by Obohlale Wekane, who's a poet. Good evening and welcome, young lions. Thank you so much for joining us on Expressions.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, great to have you on the show. Uncles, boy, Ugren.
Angiyaphila.
Hayi ngiyakubona uthi right. Ake usitshele mhlawumbe kancane mfethu ukuthi wena walimala kanjani?
Mina ngalimala bengihlala eSoweto. Nicefield la kunemikhukhu kuphela, so it's just like it's a squatter camp. So kade ngihlala nobaba wami nomama wami. So since like sisonke in my childhood, but bengisasemncane because this incident, I just got burned like I was still a toddler. So bengingakakwazi ukuhamba, bengisawumntwana nje usazama ukuhamba yonke lento. So umama wami wenza iphutha ngokuthi angishiye emkhukhwini aphumele ngaphandle. Kodwa okuningi kodwa ngikhumbule ngoba ngangisemncane. Ngoba izitori bayangitshela. Umama wami into ayenza waphuma wangishiya ngilele. Wacaka ukuthi ngilele angizovuka ezingingane ngizovuka, and now umzali you don't expect ukuthi umntwana uzenzani mayivuka. So mangivuka ngiyahamba ngiyazama vele ngafika ngasetafuleni. So you see the tablecloth, so ngafika ngadonsa tablecloth. So there bokade kuphekiwe, there was a primal stove. So because emkhukhini la bengihlala khona bengingakhogesi even namanje osasenjalo.
All right. Now, before I also bring you, Bohlale, into the conversation, Robert, perhaps you can speak to us about safety, because I know the EMS has been, having certain campaigns. I know back in the day you used to have drives where you go into our townships to bring safety awareness about all the safety, especially in winter. Do you still have those?
Yeah, we do have we actually have a section in our organization. We call it public education, which has got men and women who are dedicated on conducting public education programs. So these programs are designed for your nursery schools, your creche, your daycare centers, your primary schools, your high schools, and also communities at large. So mostly in your nursery schools, we've got programs which he was talking about, which we teach young kids about what to do if your clothes catches fire, how do you move away from a building, crawl under the smoke, the number for the emergency to call and things like that. So we're trying to teach them while they are young, so that we can prevent,
Which
incidents
is also
where
very important. Perhaps
exactly.
we can also bring in the contact details for that and information afterwards. Now, Nkuls, bosangitshela ukuthi esikoleni uke wathwala kanzima abantu bebahleka sometimes mabakubona akungitshele kancane ngalokho.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of things I've been facing khuleni kwami. So bokusanokwenzeka uthi usahleli nabangani bakho, as young kids sinokudlala sithi asidlala umagwarana, and then omunye uza describe the way ungakhona, and le nto beyiphatha kabuhlungu.
Buhlale, you listening to this, I know me and you had spoken as well beforehand, which you busy with initiatives that empower young people. What would you have to say to a young person, Ubugile Expressions right now, who'd probably be the one dishing out insults to a burn survivor?
I think not even just to someone who dishes out to a burn survivor. I think in general as young people, we need to be very conscious of the things we say to each other, because at the end of the day, I think we're all just human and we're all just reaching out and trying to make it through. So I think we need to be more sensitive with each other. We need to regard each other as human and just try and engage with each other and be positive, because there's so much happening and so many issues that are happening around young people that like the least we can do is to be like teasing each other and bullying each other,
Yeah, always find that little silver lining in the cloud, exactly as Nkululeko has done, because he's got some awesome drawings that he has there. I mean, you've channeled energy zakho into these nice drawings. This is really nice, Mbugeliwe Expressions. And you're the one who's been drawing all of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Usukucabangani when you just put this on paper? It's funny.
Actually, like,
it's very nice.
It's something like as a feeling, yabo. So nginento nje engicabangayo like emotional. So ngiyaqala la ngidraw and yeah, so and draw like I just got inspired by this famous artist, Van Gogh, Claude Monet. So those are most of the artists. And kuya kufike into mangicabanga and like that drawing. So even that drawing is like emotional. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because here what I have like as funny as cat. So
yeah, it depends on how you're feeling. Buhlale, you're also doing amazing things as a young person. Speak to us about some of the programs. It's Youth Month, and the Expressions, Nati, we're doing an outside broadcast in Soweto this coming Friday. So Abantabasha had better be there for that as well. We'll be giving you details on our social media pages. What are you doing?
So basically, I'm collaborating with different campaigns just to go out to young people, give motivational talks to young people. So people can always follow that. I always post about that on my social media. And obviously that will be like leading on to like June 16 and all of that campaigns. And I'll also be sharing my poetry because I use my voice to spread a message and to express myself.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
We'll be looking out for that. Mbugeli, at the back of that, of course, we always ask you to be in touch with us in Gundlen Zetu Zoxhumana, and this is what you had to say. Now, Usihle Promise says our parents are careless when it comes to fire. Why they don't bring the light and batteries, it's better than candles. Now, the Mashesha says, absolutely, the only problem we have in South Africa is that of parents neglecting their children in a form of physical abuse, or such as recent issue with a father who took the lives of 3 children. Now, that's also at the back of that incident that happened in Durban this past weekend, that the Durban police are investigating a child negligence case after some 4 children died in a fire. Now, Edward says there's still a number of children who are reportedly injured every day on social media on SABC News. That's our hashtag, of course. Now, children are not protected and there's not enough safety. Do keep the conversation going. See, Expression City, always take care, especially in Joba Sego Siga. Remember to draw your happy picture as well, and remember to tell a friend that the hottest current affairs show is now showing. Back after this.
Welcome back. You're watching Expressions here on SABC1. Tonight we are observing National Child Protection Week, and we're putting a special spotlight on fire safety, most importantly. And the question that we're asking you, Kochaye, is there enough fire safety awareness for children in South Africa? Gentlemen, we have to sort of wrap everything up. And I think just for you, Headley, just to find out in terms of your facial reconstruction surgeries, you know, do you do those? How do you help victims, and maybe some of your success stories?
Absolutely. So, I mean, very quickly, I mean, we don't do it. My hands have never done a surgery. It's the academic hospitals, it's the surgeons, it's the nurses. And for us, it's about partnering. So in this situation, we're partnering with the Avila Foundation, who Tebogo is representing. But once again, I don't do any surgeries. We're looking to the heroes that are really the life-saving. If you're looking here, this is the man that's running into the building. And God forbid it happens, then you're having the surgeon that's going to assist in our academic hospitals. We're really a conduit that's helping the surgical teams, the academic hospitals, the NDOH, and most importantly, the patients and the survivors to step up, just like Tebogo, to say, we can do it. We will overcome.
Yeah, thank you. And you guys are doing such an amazing work. And I think for you, Robert, just maybe a few more tips, like 1 or 2 tips, but I think most importantly, just the number people can call if they want to be a little bit more educated around fire safety.
Okay, we just want to invite our residents up there to call us on our central reservation number, which is 011-758-5050. We've got about 7 Be Safe centers which are spread in all 7 regions of the city. These centers are specially designed to educate our communities about life and fire safety educational programs. They don't have to pay anything. They can come visit us. Most of these centers are based at a fire station. So if they can't come to us, they can call us. We can come wherever they are. Maybe we can train them under a tree or wherever they are, in a church, in a tavern, wherever they are. We can be able to come and make sure that we educate them, so that we give them this necessary skills, so that if there's an emergency, they will be able to deal with some of the emergencies which might occur.
And for you, Headley, if somebody wants to get involved, they want to support what Tebogo is doing, you know, which is climbing up Kilimanjaro, which is such an amazing feat. How do people get involved? How do they support initiatives like this?
So there is a Back a Buddy account where you can search for Tebogo, and she's right there. She's raised a hell of a lot of money, and she wants to raise even more. That laser is the hope for a lot of people. So you can use that, or 325-6480 is our office number, or smilefoundation.coza is really that joining of how to assist both Smile Foundation and Avila in order to change lives.
Yeah, and you guys indeed changing lives. Thank you for saving lives, and thank you for changing lives. Thank you so much. It was such an inspiring show, Mko.
Absolutely, Jackie. And I think we've started the conversation here with Expressions, and I have to thank those 2 shining beacons of hope, you know, who continue to fly the torch and continue to be a symbol of hope. And of course, safety needs to be something that continues 365 days a year. Now, Mbogeli Lapekaya, we did ask you the very big question, namhlanje kusihlwa ukuthi, is there enough fire safety awareness for children in South Africa? And do we have our poll results ready? Yes, we do. About 80% of you said no, and just about 20% said yes. So clearly there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
So it's a good thing that young people, or at least people who are watching Expressions, because we gave them all that information on how they can be educated on fire safety, right, Ngo?
Absolutely. Now, at the back of that, in Mbogeli, we always ask you what we'd like for us to discuss. And here's your suggestion for next week. Roll it.
Hi Expressions, my name is Jessica Mabuela, and as we'll be commemorating June 16, can you please talk about the relevancy of the modern youth? Do they still fight for a good cause, or do they just find pleasure in burning private property to put their message across? Thank you.
Burning issue indeed, Mgogo. Looking forward to that topic, right?
It's going to be a very fiery one. I'm looking forward to that one, Jackie. And we're in Youth Month, mind you, so we're going to be having a lot of these discussions. Mbugela Peka, thank you so much for joining us. A Cutting Edge is up next. Now, King Island is on standby to, of course, play us out. And Salegahle, thank you for watching.
It's starting to get cold in these streets with no proper guidance and no role models to look up to. It's feeling like the end is near, so I got a little something for my people out there going through hardships. Listen. Poverty, it's all war in them streets. Niggas waving guns, robbing stores. I swear this life no longer sweet. I got family to feed, a do or die situation. So I'ma need some concentration as I take participation. Pass me the fofo, let me load that shit up and cock it. I'm spazzing like YOLO, gotta be a man, so don't forget. My family gotta eat or they die. Now tell me who life would you save? Someone else or your child's? God damn it, don't that off your mind. So I'ma pray, cock and spray to get mine. Hit the till, take all the money, getting way out of line. Don't give a damn if I get shot in the spine. I'll hustle and grind, run and die for my dime, my family. I put that on my mama, no lie. A man's gotta do what he gotta when there's no time. In this life, we got limited time. The only way to overcome poverty is crossing the line. I'm trying to show you the light. I'm just trying to give you life. I'm trying to give you life. Now stop thinking it's all about black and white. Said I'm trying to give you life. I'm just trying to show you light. I'm trying to show you the light. Open your eyes, this ain't about no black and white. Dogs dying daily, cops dying daily. Crazy war between the two, shit to kill. Now where the nigga baby? Drugs taking over daily. Drug rate getting higher than the unemployment rate. Wait, it's never too late. Is this the kind of world we all stuck in?